Good morning, Scorpio Nation. I feel like there's someone here who has been standing at a kind of internal crossroads. Even if nothing dramatic is happening on the outside, life might look mostly the same to the people around you. Same job, same routines, same conversations. But inside, something is shifting. Something is asking deeper questions. Questions like, is this still the direction I'm meant to be walking? Or am I staying somewhere because it feels familiar or because it truly belongs to my future? For some of you, this feeling, it's not loud or chaotic. It's quiet. It's almost like standing on a bridge and realizing you are halfway across it. You can still see the old side behind you, but the new side is starting to appear through the fog. And with that said, welcome back to Hermit in the Woods Tarot. My name is Matt. If you are new here, this channel is a small cabin in the woods that somehow reaches people all over the world who are looking for reflection, clarity, and a moment of quiet understanding. If you enjoy these readings, take a moment to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me where you're watching from. I always enjoy seeing where this little forest path connects to people. And you can always also leave questions in the comments if there's something you'd like explored in future readings. And as always, remember that these readings are general guidance. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and trust your own intuition first. At the end of the day, you know your life better than anyone else. And one thing I like to say here often is that the forest teaches us that growth is rarely loud. And most real growth happens quietly. It happens in reflection, in patience, sometimes in moments where we step back long enough to see our lives from a different angle. And this channel is really about four things. It's truth-seeking, reflection, personal growth, and grounded spirituality. And I feel like some of you are standing closer to a new chapter than you might realize. So let's look at the cards and see what they have to say. And again, today we're using the House of Dragon Tarot deck. These cards focus heavily on power dynamics, decisions, leadership, personal evolution, and this makes it perfect for the spread that we're using today, which is the Iron Throne spread. And the reason I like this spread is that it explores something deeper than just events. It explores positioning, where you're standing in life, where power sits, possible obstacles that are existing, and what path will lead you toward claiming something that might really belong to you. And it's not an ego sense, but a sense of purpose. So let's begin. What do we have for Scorpio? And this could be a week from now, could be a month from now, could be years from now. All depends on when this video reaches you. Time is relative, especially on the YouTube channel. So when this message reaches you, there's probably a message that's for you. So hopefully you enjoy it. Alright, let's get 5 cards for the Iron Throne spread, and we'll pick one spirit card, spirit message, and later we'll get 2 clarifying cards to connect and finish off the reading. So right now the cards are, a lot of them are in reverse. First card is 4 of Dragons. in reverse, and this is the dragon's eye, which is the obstacle. And here we have the Four of Dragons, and something about this card makes me pause for a moment. Normally the Four of Dragons speaks about stability, home, foundation, a sense of belonging, but reversed, it can sometimes point to a place that used to feel like home but doesn't quite feel the same anymore. For some of you, this may involve family. For others, I feel like it's a career environment or a social circle. And there's a quiet realization here that something you once leaned on for stability might not be the place you're meant to remain forever. And that can feel really strange. And it's not necessarily bad. It's just unfamiliar. Sometimes stepping away from something reveals the bigger picture. And I think that's happening here. So let's get into the next card, and this is the Blades. This represents your strength, and again it's the Judgment, but it is in reverse. And that's really interesting because Judgment reversed can sometimes point to self-doubt, but in a strength position it shows something different. It shows someone who has already been doing deep self-reflection, someone who has been asking, am I living the life I actually want? How do I move forward with this task? How do I learn this? And I keep coming back to this idea that many Scorpios watching this might be realizing that their value independent, or their value is independent of others people's opinions. And you're starting to realize that, and this is a very powerful moment for you. So let's get into the next card, which is the Days. And this is who held the throne before you. And here again we have the Queen of Crowns, and it is in reverse. And this can represent someone in the past who may have held emotional authority in your life. This might be a parent, your partner, maybe it's your supervisor or a mentor. And sometimes this card appears when someone was expected to carry emotional responsibility, but they weren't really theirs. So for some Scorpios, you may be realizing that a role you played, maybe a caretaker, maybe you're the fixer, maybe a peacekeeper, it's no longer one you wish to carry. And that can be the hidden strength card. That your strength is possibly you're letting go, maybe asking for help. So let's see what the window has for us. And this is the Six of Dragons, and this is upright, so this is real beautiful. This card again speaks about shared effort, collaboration, and recognition. And again, I feel like you're letting go of being that person and asking for help. And this is the window, so this could be coming up. Maybe you need to ask for help. And some of you may be stepping into leadership roles at work. Others may be starting a business or a creative project, but you also need guidance. You need that mentor. And I feel like the deeper meaning here is that your effort is starting to be seen, but sometimes recognition arrives after a long quiet season. And so let's get into the final card. And this is the Nine of Blades reverse. And this is the seat. This is the best possible outcome. So this card is a release from anxiety. The feeling of finally stepping out of a mental storm. Something that once kept you awake at night may slowly start losing power over you. And when you look at these cards together, the Four of Dragons reversed, the Judgment reversed, the Nine of Blades reversed, there's a pattern here. This is a transition reading. It's a moment where someone is leaving behind something that once defined them. You're crossing into unfamiliar territory, not recklessly, but thoughtfully, step by step. So let's get into the astrological energy expansion for the week. And astrology this week supports that kind of reflection. On Sunday, coming up, the Aquarius moon forms a supportive connection with Venus and Aries. And this can bring helpful conversations around home, responsibilities, or daily routines. Some of you may finally have a discussion that clears the air in a family situation. But the moon also brushes up against Pluto. So this means some emotions might surface that have been quietly building under the surface. Nothing dramatic necessarily. It's just truth revealing itself. And then Monday the moon shifts into Pisces, and this is where things become more creative, more imaginative, more expressive. I feel like some Scorpios might be feeling inspired to write, to paint. You're planning a new project, exploring an idea that you've been carrying quietly to yourself. And emotionally, this energy feels like permission to explore that new version of yourself. And I wanted to share a story that comes to mind with these cards. There once was a traveler climbing a steep mountain trail. The climb was slow and the path was narrow. Traveler carried an old walking stick that had been worn smooth over the years of use. And at one point, the traveler stopped and looked up the mountain. The summit looked still far away. And for a moment, they wondered if they had made any progress at all. But when they turned around, they could see the entire valley stretching behind them. Miles of ground they had crossed. And in that moment, they realized something simple. Progress is not measured by how far the summit feels. It's measured by the steps we've already taken. And a Bible verse that comes to mind is Galatians 6:9. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Psalm 37:23, the steps of a good person are ordered by the Lord. And sometimes the path becomes clear only after we've already started walking it. So let's get into the spirit message. And I pulled the Page of Blades. And this is reverse as well. And this can sometimes represent overthinking or second guessing. But it can also represent learning to trust your own perspective, especially when you are entering unfamiliar territory. Alright, so let's get into the clarifying cards. Let's get a shuffle here. One and two. And the first card, first we have Temperance. And this is a card of balance. It's patience, it's integration, and it suggests that whatever changes are happening in your life, which are not meant to be rushed, they are meant to be integrated slowly. And the other card we pulled was the Page of Crowns. And this is often associated with new ideas, new ventures. It could be learning. Maybe you're returning to school or starting a new study path. For some of you, this may connect with creative projects, education, or career development. It's the energy of a beginning. And I feel like there's somebody out there that is going through a transition of after hardship. And I feel like you're standing at the finish line of a very difficult chapter in your life. And that feeling is powerful for you. You finally see the end of a long struggle. It changes how you walk the final steps. I feel like somebody might be thinking about exhaustion you're feeling lately. You're carrying responsibilities, maybe as a single parent, but you're managing a very demanding career, and you have help, but it's not there all the time, so you struggle with trying to balance your world. And sometimes the quiet dream is simply a slower life. A life where peace matters more than constant pressure. And I feel like there's somebody out there as well who possibly you're leaving a job in faith to start a business. And that courage can be really terrifying because you might not know if it doesn't work out, what you're going to do. But often the path toward independence begins with uncertainty. So you just have to keep trying and keep pushing, keep building step by step. You will make it happen. And I think some of you out there might be feeling this feeling about delayed responses after job interviews, and how often those delays really don't have anything to do with your personal worth. It's just businesses really need to take time and think about these choices, because it is a business choice. And I'm exactly there. I'm still waiting for a few job offers, hoping one comes through so I can begin my new chapter of my life. But sometimes life simply moves slower than our anxiety. And I feel like with me, I have a lot on my plate. I wanted to take classes. I need one class to graduate for my MBA in accounting, but I specifically wanted to take this one class, which I've probably talked about it before, but it's business analyst and reporting, and it's also for the CPA. Well, that class isn't covered by financial aid, so I'd have to pay out of pocket. But the other class, because it's only 3 credits, won't get covered by financial aid. So the advisor told me that I could enroll or switch my degree as finance, and then I'd have to take 2 more classes to graduate, and that would push my graduation to so I'd have to take 2 more classes in fall, and that's what were the 2 classes? International trade and risk or something, and capital budgeting. And which capital budgeting, I think I would definitely be intrigued with that. But yeah, so I had planned. I kind of figured I might have to pay for one of those classes or whatever out of pocket, but I was hoping, I could get student loans or whatever. I don't think I would get it paid for financial aid because it is MBA. Usually you ran out of financial aid to be paid for, but I feel like somebody out there might be beginning new classes. I feel like this is like a psychology. Again, it could be accounting, but I feel like there's more of a deeper kind of like therapy. And I've taken psychology classes too, and I guess that's where my point is that I knew what I wanted to do, and I was getting ready to submit my classes, but then so then they said I needed to pay up front, and it's really but now I don't know if I want to do the 4 classes. I do, but I'm just afraid that if I start telling potential employers that it might hurt my job chances, so, and it's also not just that, but it's also a lot of work. 2 classes for summer, and that would be auditing and business analyst and reporting. But yeah, I really got to get going. I've been studying business analysts and building classes online and stuff too, along with my tarot readings. So I've been getting there, but yeah, I would like to get working. Pretty much looking for a staff accountant role. But I feel like somebody out there is taking classes, but you're also navigating family tensions. Possibly you're trying to find a house. And my point is, moments like this require enormous resilience. And when I see everyone in these situations, there's an underlying energy, and it's people who are rebuilding their lives step by step. And the future is shaped not by one perfect decision, but by many small ones. So, with the closing message, this reading is quiet but powerful. You may be standing at the edge of a new chapter, and it's not because everything in life suddenly changed overnight, but because you changed. You're gaining clarity, you're growing stronger, you become more protective of your peace, and sometimes that's the moment when the throne of your own life becomes available. Not because you fought for it, but because you finally realize it was yours to be claimed. Well, with that said, thank you for spending time here at Hermit in the Woods Tarot. And if this reading resonated with you, take a moment to like, subscribe, leave a comment letting me know what part spoke to you the most. And as always, sometimes the answers we're searching for are already waiting in the quiet. Again, until next time, take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching.